What's up, KFG Club? It's your boy Bigboysnacksjonnytv, aka What Kind of Snatch You Want? Because I got plenty to go around. This is my AEW Dynamite review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content because I'm on the road to 10K and a path to YouTube partner. Go check out my WWE NXT review on highlights, and also go check out my WWE NXT live reactions. Stephanie Mercure versus Vincent Perez that I did a live stream for yesterday. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, AEW Dynamite was a solid show, and I give it a 7.5 out of 10. AEW Dynamite was live in New Orleans, Louisiana, Lakefront, Lakefront Arena. All right, it says, never mind that mess. Here comes Mongo RIP Steve Mitchell. All right, Steve Michelle. I'm sorry. Steve Michael. I'm sorry. It is Wednesday, my dudes, and you know what that means. We opened the show at ringside as Tony Schiavone welcomes Master P to the ring. While I check my calendar to confirm it's still 2025. The founder of the No Limit brand comes to the ring, and we find out part of his proposal here tonight as he introduced the new AEW World Truest Champion, the Opps. Make him say, sorry. The new champs make their way to the ring to a big pop before Samoa Joe repeats the old Master P catchphrase. He talks about there being no better place to celebrate than here in New Orleans, but the celebration is cut short by John Moxley's music playing, leading to a quick arrival of the Death Riders. They just about to clear the ring, just leaving John Moxley with Samoa Joe as the AEW World Champion lays into the man who made him submit. All I gotta say is, John Moxley is is um is carrying AEW. That's a that's it. Carry, yeah. He is carrying he is carrying AEW. But in my honest opinion, he's like John Moxley is destroying AEW, destroying. Yeah, John Moxley is destroying AEW, and that's all I gotta say. Um, that's just my opinion. I stand on it. Even though that he's carrying even though that he's carrying AEW, but also he's just destroying AEW at the same time. So I believe that Will Ospreay is going to take the title off of John Moxley. That's all I gotta say. All right, John Moxley backs away and finds himself standing toe to toe with Master P, but not for long as Samoa Joe gets back on his feet to lock John Moxley in a Kafuta clutch. The other Death Riders are still fighting at ringside as Master P says they want all the smoke before telling Samoa Joe to put John Moxley to sleep. This this is that brought that how when the Young Bucks and Kazuchika Okada run to the ring with chairs, stopping Samoa Joe and helping John Moxley up. The world champion looks at the Young Bucks before Maria Shapiro brings him out of the ring, and not a moment too soon, as Swerve Strickland comes out to ringside. This forced the Young Bucks and Okada to make their leave before being confronted by Kenny Omega, forcing the trio to retreat through the crowd um as the Ops Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland. Samoa Joe got the microphone, giving some props to Kenny Omega before turning his attention to John Moxley to lay down the challenge for the AEW World Championship. The Ops take the Ops take their leave from the ring as we cut backstage. When APAC Red congratulates Nick Wayne on winning the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, but Christian Cage insists the congrats should go to him as he takes the belt from his prodigy. He starts to run Nick Wayne down until Nick Wayne talks about this is what happens when you stick to the plan before walking off as we cut away. But like I said, John Moxley is killing AEW. That's all I gotta say. But Will Ospreay is the only person that can take the AEW World Champion off of John Moxley. That's all I gotta say. But John Moxley is killing AEW. Alright. Seems rather fitting that a segment with Master P was just about to scream WCW, doesn't it? Honestly, a bit of fun here with the Death Riders and Elite involvement, all leading to Samoa Joe laying down a challenge to John Moxley for the world title. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. It was a pretty good segment. That's all I gotta say. Back at ringside, Ricochet and Mark Briscoe make their entrance, and we get this opening contest underway. So we get Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet, and this was a fun opening match right here. Yeah, this was a fun opening match right here. The crowd chants about Ricochet being bald, leading to him leaving the ring to confer with Nick Harrison, High Professor in the front row, about the fact Mark Briscoe is also bald. The crowd does not relent on this matter as Ricochet gets back in the ring, taking the fight to the former Ring of Honor World Champion until Mark Briscoe sends him out of the ring to land a scissor kick through the ropes. He leaves the ring to lay a chop on Ricochet, sending him to the barricade to stay on the attack. As the action returns to the ring, the two fight it out on the apron until Ricochet lands a pump kick, only to be intercepted by Mark Briscoe. With his opponent on the floor, Mark Briscoe gives a shout out to Cactus Jack for an elbow drop off the apron before bringing Ricochet back in the bringing Ricochet back to the ring. Ricochet starts to fight back from this, but is cut off with a chop from Mark Briscoe, who sends him to the corner, only for Ricochet to use the referee as a human shield, distracting Mark Briscoe enough to send him into the turnbuckle. He then forces Mark Briscoe out of the ring, standing over him on the floor as we head to the floor commercial break on um, on Max. All right, full commercial break on Max. Back from commercial break, Ricochet was brought Mark Briscoe back in the ring for a near fall before Mark Briscoe fights back to his feet, sending Ricochet to the corner. Ricochet starts to fight back until it's met with several palm strikes to the head by Mark Briscoe, who then sends him to the canvas for a near fall. This leads to both men leading trading pin attempts until Ricochet hits a Northern Light suplex followed by a brainbuster for a close two count. Alright, Ricochet gets to his feet, mocking Mark Briscoe until the latter responds with a slap. Ricochet heads to the ropes for a springboard, but this gets countered for a near fall by the former Ring of Honor World Champion. Ricochet counters a J Driller but takes a Death Valley driver instead, with Mark Briscoe landing a running kick before going up top for a froggy blow. No, Ricochet rolls out of the ring. I'm sorry, no, Ricochet rolls out of the way, forcing his opponent to the corner where the land a kick, sending Mark Briscoe to the canvas. Ricochet lands a springboard 450 splash for the cover, but Mark Briscoe kicks out. Ricochet heads to the corner, but is soon intercepted by Mark Briscoe. The two fighting it out until Mark Briscoe sends him out of the ring for a dive. He brings him back in for a lariat and the cover, but now it's Ricochet who kicks out, um, and sends Mark Briscoe to the corner to block a J Driller. He takes Mark Briscoe to the mat with a double leg takedown, putting his feet on the rope for leverage. Mark Briscoe rolls through, catching Ricochet with the flash pin. Alright, the winner of the match, Mark Briscoe. And this match right here, this was a fun opening match. Mark Briscoe doesn't get to celebrate long as Ricochet leaves the ring for a chair, taking him down. Mark Briscoe tries to fight back before Ricochet reveals a pair of scissors, but before he can use them, Kevin Knight turns down for the save. Ricochet retreats up the ramp as Kevin Knight gets in the ring to check on Mark Briscoe, and we get a brief look at Rock and Roll Express watching from the crowd before we head to commercial break. All right, Fun opening match here between Mark Briscoe and Ricochet got a slight pop from me over Ricochet, pointing out Mark Briscoe was also bought, something the crowd don't seem to phase by. LOL. Great clash of style with Mark Briscoe picking up the win. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. So we go to commercial break. Back at ringside, Tony Schiavone begins to welcome FTR to the ring, but he is interrupted by Stokely halfway, who instead introduced the living legend as FTR, who comes down to the ring to ring alongside Big Track Sue Stoke. The trio enters the ring as Stokely talks about what happened. He takes the time to run down the crime committed by people in AEW. Stokely Hathaway promised he would have the suspension against FTR upon from their permanent record as the fine web rules to them. Any questions for FTR will now go through their new agent, Stokely Halfway. With that with that cash, Wheeler Yuta takes the mic to talk about Daniel Garcia as the crowd boos louder and louder. Alright. Wheeler goes on to talk about Garcia asking them to stop the beatdown until 2.0 before talking about helping Daniel out when other was left them high and dry. From now on, it's FTR first. Dax cut in to bring up the legends in the building tonight, pointed the Rock and Roll Express in the crowd. This brings the legendary duo out to ringside to a nice reaction from the fans. New Orleans much to the dragon to the charging of FTR. Dax says he level and respect of the Rock and Roll Express before asking them what they think their best match was, only to cut them off, bringing up their matches against the Midnight Express. They are asked about their age, only for Dax Harwood to make fun of them some more. When Dax starts to do this one more time, Ricky Morton an in ring for an end to this before Stokely halfway reveals a brand new FTR shirt, tossing it to Express as FTR attacks them. The former tag team starts to lay into the legends looking for a spike power driver before Paragon comes running down to the running down to make the save. FTR and Stoke escapes through the crowd as we go to commercial. One of these days, the Rock and Roll Express have gotta say no to an invite to AEW, as it seems they always get attacked by someone in the ring. LOL, good segment for what it for what it for what it was through. I'm still wrapping my brain around the Undisputed Kingdom now being Paragon. So hashtag AEW Dynamite. So we go to commercial break. Alright, back at ringside, the Young Bucks make their way to the ring for our next match, followed by Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight, with all four competitors in the ring, and we get this tag team match on the way. Alright, so we get the Young Bucks, Matthew Jackson and Nicholas Jackson versus Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight. And this match right here, this was a good match. I ain't gonna lie. So yeah, this was a good match, good tag team match, brother. I'm sorry. We start off with Matthew and Bailey going at it at double super kick attempt, locking their legs until Nicholas comes in to intervene. This leads to Kevin Owens coming back as well, with the Young Bucks getting an upper hand until Kevin Knight and Bailey ended up sending the MVP to the outside of a pair of planches to a nice pop from the crowd. The bring the Young Bucks back in. This leads to LA Knight being sent out of the ring. While the Young Bucks turn their attention to Speedball, taking him down hard before Nicholas gets the drop on Kevin Owens. Not Kevin Owens, on Kevin Knight. I'm sorry. Before we go to a commercial break, so we back from a commercial break. Nicholas tag in to take the fight to Speedball, only to be rock hard with a kick, forcing him to tag but Matthews back in. Kevin Knight is sent off the apron, but Speedball fights back with a fury of kicks to tag the to Jet and Kevin Knight off. And Kevin Knight takes off, sending Nicholas away to focus on Matthews by sending him to the ropes. Matthews gets sent to the mat as Kevin Knight continues to attack, only for Matthews to get back for a pair of Northern Light suplex. Bailey tries to intervene, but Nicholas runs into him. Speedball added Bay. I'm sorry. This allows Matthews to lay into Kevin Knight, taking him down for a cover, but Kevin Knight kicks out. Bailey gets a tag, but is sent down hard by Matthews, who makes a tag to Nicholas. He calls for a super kick party, but Bailey rejects the invite, only for Matthews to come running in, and he takes a springboard by Kevin Knight. Nicholas hits a super kick on Kevin Knight, but is laid out with one by Speedball. All four men are down, but Kevin Knight and Matthews keep up a double down, and Nicholas and Mike keep up for a roundhouse kick. That responds then back down. Kevin Knight is back up and sets Matthews up on the turnbuckle as Bailey gets him on his shoulders. But Nicholas just Nicholas gets Kevin Knight on his, leading to the game of checking between Kevin Knight and Matthews. Bailey and Kevin Knight manage to take control, forcing Matthews out and setting Nicholas up in the center of the ring. Bailey with a dive on Matthews as Kevin Knight gets the drop on Nicholas for a 2 count, followed by a UFO splash in the cover. Bailey tries to keep Matthews away, but is shoved onto Kevin Knight to begin the pin. The action spill out of the ring as the Bucks takes control, dropping Kevin Knight with a doomsday device of the Hurricane. This is filled. This is followed by Speedball dive, ending with the Young Bucks hitting the TK driver from the barricade as well. But the Young Bucks get caught in the ring as Kevin Knight and begins Kevin Knight barely again control Kevin Knight goes to the ropes, but it is trapped up by Ricochet, and this allows the Young Bucks to set up the EVP trigger on Kevin Owens for the win. The winner of the match, the Young Bucks. And this was a great match right here. Great. Good match, I believe. Good tag team match. Ricochet makes his escape up the ramp as we cut backstage to hear from Toni Storm, who wishes the semifinals up on Hard Cup the best of luck before addressing her entrance at the TCM red carpet. Storm then issues an open challenge that is quickly answered by Quinn Amnata for a conclusion on Saturday before the timeless one leaves. All right, great bit of fun in this action with the Young Buck Speedball and Kevin Knight. Good, but con- continually with Ricochet getting his thumb revenge on Kevin Knight. That makes for an interest feud, I think. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Meanwhile, Tony Storm continues to shine in promos. Should be a fun match against Queen Abnata on Collusion this week. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. This was a good segment with Tony Storm. That's all I gotta say. Back at ringside, the Hurt Syndicate head down the ramp to address some things. First, they run down their recent opponent while are recovering from being hurt. With that, MVP lands the mic to Bobby Lashley, but he is interrupted by the arrival of MJF instead and at the parking lot before his music begins the former AEW World Champion out to the ring. All right. MJF enters the ring saying he knows the trio had a good time last week. He as he looks for the three thumbs up, he needs to join the group. MVP gave the thumbs up, followed by Shelton Benjamin giving a thumbs up as well. Thumbs well to a big pop from the crowd. But Sean Benjamin cussed him off, saying he's only got a thumbs up because of MVP and MJF. Should not give that. MJF says he loves MVP, and we also love our good friend Bobby Lashley. But before Bobby Lashley gives his response, MJF stops him. He says if he's in her syndicate, they just gonna get it all. Bobby Lashley brings a lot to the table, but there are ways and there are things MJF could bring that Bobby Lashley cannot. He knows the company better than anyone, and if he's in a group, they don't just run AEW. They professional wrestling. MJF realized that has been quickly towards Bobby Lashley, and the offer tells him something he doesn't usually say. Two simple words. He saw MJF can bring himself to say it. It's at first before the crowd urged him to say it, Bob. All right, this gets a pop from the crowd as Bobby Lashley starts to get his response again. But MJF stops him again, revealing that if he gives a thumbs up, the car he drove to to the arena tonight is all his. Bobby Lashley makes a Bobby Lashley smiles at the thought of this, but wants the keys. MJF says the key are in the back, and they offer to take him to the car, to the parking lot. Commentary walks down about MJF. MJF is trying to offer the Hurt Syndicate. We cut we cut to the parking lot. Alright. MJF and the Hurt Syndicate arrived at the car where Bobby Lashley wanted the keys from MJF to take a close look, I'm sorry. Bobby Lashley gets in the driver's seat with Shelton Benjamin joining him on the passenger side, and Bobby Lashley starts the car up before MJF says he just needs a thumbs up. First, Bobby Lashley puts his hand out and gives MJF a thumbs down before driving off with Shawn Benjamin, much to oblige of MJF. MVP tells him the tells him to give him MVP. All right, it says back. It says right here. Shawn Benjamin, the champion of MJF, MVP tells him to give people what they want as, and MJF gets his teeth. We'll go to commercial break. All right, absolutely crackling at how the segment panned out. MJF gets the approval of MVP and Shelton Benjamin only for his offer to Bobby Lashley goes aware when Bobby Lashley takes the card. He presents with after giving a thumbs down. Honestly, thought this was hilarious. This was a hilarious promo. Let me continue. So we go to commercial break. Alright, back from commercial break. Hangman Page addresses Kyle Fletcher ahead of their own Hard Cup match before MJF enters the scene to poke fun at him. Ethan Page, not Ethan Page. Hangman has a go at MJF for losing the car moments ago before running him down for trying to get in with the Hurt Syndicate. Before MJF brings up they are 1-1 and singles competitor, and next time they wrestle MJF will take Seabacks out back and pull him down. He then suggests that Page may make it to the finals of the Owen Hart, but he was choked walking walk, walking up as Page says he got something MJF can't choke on before, and he's to take his right take his leave. All right, it says we head to ringside as Will Ospreay and Brody King make their way to the ring for our next match. A big pop from both men before Kazuchika Kankashka and Josh Alexander and alongside Don Callis and Lance Archer for the when we get before we get out of the way. Alright, so we get Will Ospreay and Brody King versus Kanushka Takeshita and Josh Alexander. And this match right here, this is a good tag team match right here. We start off with Will Ospreay and Takeshita only for Alexander to blindside Will Ospreay as Takeshita sends Brody King off the apron. This shows the album to get an upper hand on Will Ospreay before tagging Josh, and with Alexander dodges a stand moonsault to grab and away to grab an ankle lock on the real assassin. We fight. Will Ospreay fights out as the crowd chants for him, with Will Ospreay sending Alexander to the corner for a tag to King. The double team Alexander before King takes him to the corner, diving his boot into the throat of the walking weapon before Will Ospreay attacks himself in and to stay on the attack. He heads to the ropes, but is taped up by Kanushka Takeshita, allowing Alexander to hit a running crossbody that sends Ospreay through the ropes, and the floor was getting to it in a break. So we go to commercial break. Back from the break, it's all on Will Ospreay and Alexander with a ladder forcing Will to the corner for a tag by Takeshita only for Will Ospreay to fight back, taking both men down for a tag to Brody King, charge at Josh and then Kanusuke, slamming Alexander down hard before the heifer fights back to hit the ropes. Only only runs into a lariat by Brody King. Takeshita retreats to the outside, but he ends Alexander and are intercepted with a big dive through the ropes by Brody King. And he sends them to the barricade before bringing Takeshita back into the ring before a lariat in the corner. Takeshita backs backs into the ring for a lariat in a corner. Um, tagged by Will Ospreay, who hits a double stomp on Takeshita while he's on the shoulders of Brody King, who drives Kanushka to the mat for a mess him to the mat for a cover by Will Ospreay, but the Alpha manager to kick out. Will Ospreay continues the attack before Takeshita fights back, eventually hitting a Blue Thunder bomb on the aerial assassin for a close near fall. Alexander tag in, as does Brody King, as the two go at it before Brody King hits a lariat for a 2 count. Alexander heads to the corner, but is taking a big cannonball from Brody King, who goes for the cover as Lance Archer hops on the apron to distract the referee. He gets intervened by Ospreay, who sends him, hard. Takeshita drops him hard, sending him into a powerbomb by Alexander. They turn their attention to Brody King, getting him up for a double team, leading to a cover by Alexander, but King kicks out. Drive King contacts connect, connects from Takeshita, sending Brody up for a C spike, but Alexander, who picks up the pinfall victory. The winner by pinfall, Kanushka Takeshita and John, Josh Alexander. This was a good tag team match, might as well say. The family isn't finished, however, beating down Brody King and Will Ospreay even further, leading to a big chokeslam by Lance Archer onto Will Ospreay, and Kyle Fletcher comes down the ramp. This is quickly followed by the arrival of Hangman with a cut. Hangman, but he cuts his, he says, Hangman Adam Page, but he is cut off by Trent Barretta and Rocky Romero. They bring him to the ring where, despite trying to fight back, Page is laid out by Don Callis, Don Callis' family before Confliction connects with Brainbuster, we reminded that the pair faces off next week to find out who will face Will Ospreay in the finals of the Owen Hart Cup at AEW Double or Nothing. But up next is our main event as Chris Statlander takes on Jamie Hayter on the semifinals of the Women's Owen Hart tournament. All right, really thrilling tag team match with the Don Callis family really showing their strength against Ospreay and Brody King. Also, also be down on that page. It says also worth nothing. The beat down on Adam Page post match. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. All right, let's move on. Commercial break. Back at ringside, it is time for our main event as Jamie Hayter heads down the ramp to a nice pop. A similar reaction from Chris Statlander, who gets in the ring as this match gets underway. All right, so we get the main event of the evening. So we get the women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament semifinal. Chris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter. And this match right here, this was a good main event for what it was. All right. The two go back and forth until Jamie Hayter forced Chris Statlander out of the ring. Chris Statlander turns to turn things around on the former women's world champion, sending her to the corner. Jamie Hader fights back and evades a big kick from the former TBS champion as we go to a full commercial break. So we're back. We're back from the commercial break. Yeah, we're back from the commercial break. Both women are in ring once more as Chris Statlander connects with a kick on Jamie Hader before they trade hitting the ropes for an overhand. And this ends with a German suplex securing a near fall for Chris Statlander. She goes for a dragon sleeper on Jamie Hader, who forces Chris Statlander on her shoulders for a near fall to bring a slight break in the action. Chris Statlander transitions to another hold, but Jamie Hader counters for a 2 count. Before locking in a head scissors, she starts going to the ropes seemingly to leverage, but this allows Chris Statlander to bring her up before dropping her former women's world champion to the mat for a near fall. Jamie Hader fights back for a 2 count of her own before Chris Statlander reverses for the same result. Jamie Hader draws Chris Statlander, but the former TBS champion strikes back until Jamie Hader, Jamie Hader takes her down with a heartbreaker for a close near fall. Alright, Chris Statlander ducks a hydrated attempt for a layer of her own, going up top for a 450 splash in the cover, but Jamie Hader managed to kick out just in time to save the match for herself. Chris Statlander goes back up, but is intercepted by Jamie Hader, leading the two fighting on the turnbuckle before Jamie Hader catches Chris Statlander with a lariat on the way down. She brings Chris Statlander back to her feet for the hydrated to get the pin and the win. The winner by pinfall advances to the finals. Jamie Hader. This was a good main event match right here. It says Jamie Hader's celebration is cut short by the arrival of Mercedes Moné, who stands next to the On Heart Cup trophy on the stage as she and Jamie Hader exchange words ahead of their match at Double or Nothing. Commentary runs down the lineup for next week and beyond, heading towards the next pay-per-view event with Mercedes Moné music continuing to play as Jamie Hader runs her down runs down from the ring. Jamie Hader to play as Jamie Hader runs her down from the ring. Jamie Hader music hit Jamie Hader music then hits to remind everyone who won the tonight's main event, with Mercedes Moné just smirking from the stage as AEW Dynamite comes to a close. Alright, it says good main event between Jamie Hader and Chris Statlander, though maybe just as notch below in the ring. Work of other matches on the night. This match had the strike of the Kevin Owens tournament, keeping stakes out of the Owen tournament, keeping it important enough for the spot on the card. Jamie Hader picks up the win to advance. This is a very solid episode of AEW Dynamite. Overall, some really good in-ring action through the night, and good development of story thanks to some fun segments. The MJF slash the Hurt Syndicate stuff still get a laugh from me thinking back on it. We are now getting up for a Joe my bound bound at, and that's all I gotta say. And AEW Dynamite goes off the air. All right, let me get my opinion what I think about AEW Dynamite. I'm just gonna be real. Um, Now AEW Dynamite was a solid show, and I give it a 7.5 out of 10. If you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review on highlights, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content because I'm on the road to 10K and becoming YouTube partner for the very first time. Make sure you guys follow my social media down below in the description. And I will make a 3-minute YouTube short video of me showing you guys my thumbnail twice in that video itself. So I'm a man of my word and I'm going to keep my word on it. So make sure you guys go check out my WWE NXT review and highlights, and also go check out my WWE NXT watch along reactions. Stephanie Mercury versus Roxanne Perez, and that's all I gotta say. And also go check out my WWE Raw review and highlights. So I just want to add that there too. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet, mighty here, gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.